What's up, AKAPADers? We have another Todd Mcfarlane lie. Let's go. And here it is. Let's just get right into it. When did Todd Mcfarlane meet Stan Lee? Because here's the crazy thing. It didn't really come into fruition, boil up from the crevices until 2018. What happened during the Comic Book Greats VHS series? This meeting, this 8-hour encounter didn't come up when Todd McFarlane was in his height, when Stan Lee still had his scruples. It didn't come up in any interview. It wasn't until 2018 when Todd McFarlane was trying to maintain relevancy. I'm going to show you a clip. It's going to be a couple minutes, but please bear with me and watch all of the clip. Let's get into it. Let's go. Play that effing clip. Go!
About how I met Stan Lee. I went to my very first comic book convention. I was in Florida. I was 16 years old. And I was down there playing baseball. I ended up playing Pac-10 baseball in college. So I was down there for a baseball camp. I'm 16, and we're staying at a Holiday Inn. And as I come into the Holiday Inn, because we're going to take an airplane flight out the next day, I'm standing in line going, got to go back home because I wasn't in Canada, so I got to go back to the snow, and I'm in Florida. It's awesome. And all of a sudden I see this little sign, and it says, Comic Book Convention down this way. And I went, what? I had just started collecting comic books. And I went, there's a comic book convention at the hotel we're staying at tonight? Woo! So I went, Mom, I gotta go check something out. I walked down the hall, and there was a couple of people. The show wasn't very big, it was inside, and they had a couple of artists out on the wall, and then they had a little table over here, and Stan Lee was there. Now, I'm 16, and I know that every book that I bought says Stan Lee Presents on every one of those books, right? Stan Lee Presents. I'm going, what? He's like the Pope. The Pope is here. So I'm trying to, at this point, I'm trying to teach myself how to draw comic books. And I go up to Stan and I go, hey, Mr. Lee, my name's Todd, and I'm trying to break into comic books, and I'm trying to learn drawing and stuff. And you mind if I just sit at your table? And he said, sure, come on. And he didn't know me from Adam, could have been any one of you. And he let me sit right next to him for the rest of the night. And all I did was pepper him with questions. Like, how does the business work? What do I got to do to send him a sample? What kind of ink do I use? And he had a lineup because he was Stan Lee, though not quite as famous, as weird as it is, as he is today. But he had the people coming in, and he was as gracious back then as he is today, if you guys got to meet him. He had the same enthusiasm, hasn't lost an ounce of his enthusiasm. And he just let me stay there for 8 hours by his side as a nobody. And it made an impact.
People, I need your help. I need your help. We have to scour everything. I'm talking every single interview we can read, we can get our hands on. Has Todd McFarlane ever referenced the Stan Lee story? Why doesn't Stan Lee remember the story? Why doesn't Stan Lee ever bring up the story? These two, a teenage Todd McFarlane and Stan Lee, spent 8 hours together at a comic book convention that never came up until Todd McFarlane basically hijacked Stan Lee's career the year that he died. And I say that because just looking back, Todd McFarlane was posting a lot of weird Stan Lee stuff. They were doing panels together. This was all before Todd McFarlane kind of had a little bit of this renaissance that we see. And people, if you follow the Todd McFarlane Spawn movie news, you know how much garbage is in those news. Is in those updates, and we've exposed Todd McFarlane's 700, or is it 300 submission letter rejection lie? Todd McFarlane has sued his best friend, Al Simmons, who the namesake of Spawn, the alter ego of Spawn, is based on. Todd McFarlane is an artful liar. He understands the creation mythology, and he continues to weave it to this day. And it is insane that, and people, I'm just going from the gray matter, from my recollection. I know I never read about this encounter until Todd McFarlane started peddling it in 2018. That's what we do on this channel. We get into the nucleus. We expose what people take for granted, what they want to believe. We're questioning it. I hope I'm wrong. We have to dig. We have to find the answer to this. And he's up until recently too, even on Tim Ferriss. He got back on the Tim Ferriss, his 3-hour podcast, opens with this story. That was only a handful of years ago. He's going to further this story. Klaus Janson has already exposed Todd McFarlane as a liar with his Frank Miller inking of bricks. Fake lie. It is a lie. Todd McFarlane wants you to believe that he inked bricks for Dark Knight Returns. Klaus Janson is like, what are you talking about, bro? The lies are vast and they're career long. And the more I look into Todd McFarlane with my third eye, I don't know, AKAPAD said, there's something that happens in this champagne room. But I'm just flabbergasted. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment. Am I crazy? Like, support, flex all day, flex all night. You guys, don't read comics. Don't, before we go, don't read comics. Read anything else but a comic book and go work out. I love you. Rock it.